So let's keep in mind, my front door was completely unlocked. My service door was unlocked. My screen doors were not locked. So I was technically inviting danger into my home. If it wasn't for my neighbors and if it wasn't for my WhatsApp group, I wouldn't have known what was going on until probably the next day, in which case it could have been too late for me. It's savage out here right now, and so no matter what you did or where you lived or whatever, you cannot get too fucking comfortable.
Hold up.
Hey guys, what's up? This is not a video that I had intended to make on my channel. This is definitely me deviating from my DIY home decor and design to talk to you about something that definitely has to do with the home, but not in the manner in which you would think. There was definitely a serious situation that happened here in my neighborhood, and I wanted to address it. I just didn't know how to go about doing it. Let me also start out by saying, if you're new here and this is your first time ever meeting me, I'm LaShawn Will. If you go back and you look at my videos, this is not my normal type of content, but it is definitely a PSA that I felt was necessary because there was a situation that happened here in my neighborhood in Mexico. I felt like it was something I needed to address. Now, I could have put this on my coffee account and separated it from my normal content, but then I feel like thousands of people would not see this video. Even though I don't want to be that type of person to create fear mongering, that is not my thing. I'm all about be brave, go for it, do your thing. I know that I am not everyone's cup of tea, but what I vow to do in 2024 is to stop being a people pleaser. And as much as I want the algorithm to like me, I also want my community to respect me for being transparent, upfront, and honest about things. Not everybody is like me. I know I am the type of person who will buck the system in a heartbeat. I was born and raised in Brooklyn, 7 brothers, and I'm the baby of those 7 brothers. So I have a completely different way of looking at things in life than a lot of other people. And I know that I do things that can be very inspirational and motivational to a lot of people, but I also don't want to sell you a bit of goods. I'm not the type of person that's going to tell you, it's all rainbows and unicorns here in Mexico. If you go back and you check my videos about Mexico, I've been very upfront, very blunt about the things that are great and then also the things that are not so great. And you're gonna find that no matter where you live, no matter what country in this world you live in, you're gonna have your ups and downs, your ebbs and flows. So with that said, do me a favor. If this is your first time here, stick around for a little bit. If you want to check through some of my other videos, great, I would love that. If this is not for you, that's great, fine, see you. But I just want to say this video was necessary. But do me a favor, if you're just coming over here and you know absolutely nothing about me or my channel, what I do, what I talk about, don't be in my comments talking about, yeah, that's what's going to happen in Mexico. You're gonna end up, you know what, this is what goes on, because, people can say negative things about Mexico, and yes, there is crime. There's crime everywhere. I just had one of my co-stars, who is also in my membership group, reach out to me directly and tell me that she woke up to gunshots the other day, and she lives in the States. And not in a state that you would, I don't want to say expect it. I just want to make sure that you guys understand crime is going to happen everywhere. So please don't be in my comments talking about, yeah, that's what you should expect in Mexico and this and that and all of this. Like, don't come for me because I didn't send for you. I'm making this video specifically as a PSA because there are a lot of single women moving and expatriating to Mexico, and I just want you to keep your head on a swivel, think about everything, and let me just go ahead and tell you what happened. Let me preface this by saying something like this has never happened before in my neighborhood, or privada as we call them, which is a gated community. So everyone was shocked, including myself, but everyone is also on their P's and Q's as of now going forward. I'm fine, but I won't say that I wasn't shook. When I'm laying in bed at night and my phone keeps lighting up, you know, I'm seeing this light go off in my peripheral. And I'm just laying there trying to shut out the world. I was watching Wakanda Forever, probably for like the 5th or 6th time. I'm a Marvel nerd, don't judge me. But I really just did not feel like being bothered that evening. Just wanted to immerse myself in the Marvel U. And my phone kept going off, and then finally my instinct kicked in. Something said, why is your phone lighting up like this? Because it's late. It was now like about 10 o'clock at night, and I know that like in the East Coast it's later, and so where my family is, I'm thinking if somebody is, you know, maybe this is. So I picked up the phone, and it was my neighbor from across the street. So now I'm looking at the time and I'm thinking to myself, wow, that's kind of odd. But her and her husband have been very helpful, very neighborly, super kind to me. So remember, she had sent a message. I didn't answer it because, again, I'm trying to block out the world at this point. So there was her first message, and her first message read, Lily, are you home? Are you here? Are you home? Are you okay? And then because I didn't answer her first message, remember, I'm blocking out the world here. She had sent another message a few minutes after that, and she said, there has been an attempted burglary in the neighborhood. So of course now I'm like reading her first message, I'm reading her second message, and then I also looked to see that in the WhatsApp group for my neighborhood, everyone had been chiming in, and that's the reason why my phone kept going off, because every single person in the neighborhood was sending messages into the group to lock up, to, you know, whatever, just like be safe, be on your P's and Q's. People were going outside and looking to see what was going on. But what made it worse is this happened a couple of doors down from us. So she and I live directly across the street from each other. This was right a couple of doors down from me on my side of the block. The first thing that I did was I jumped up to go check my doors, and I hate to say this, and I know some of you guys are gonna come for me and be like, oh my God, you need to be blah, 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 blah. This just goes to show how safe I have actually felt here in Mexico, in Merida, in my privada. I have gone to bed many a night with my doors unlocked. My screen door, open with the door open and the screen closed. So if someone was trying to do something or get in here, I would have made it very, very easy for them. It was dumb. It was dumb. It was dumb. It was dumb. But I felt very safe here. And I don't think that a lot of people can go to sleep at night and not lock up every single door, every single window because of where they live. And because of where I live, I had grown accustomed to just going to bed and not feeling that overwhelming sense of fear. And honestly, when I lived in Las Vegas, I never went to bed without making sure my doors were locked and my windows were locked. Now, let's keep in mind, for those of you who are going to say, you know, yeah, that's Mexico, blah, 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 blah. I'm here to tell you, my tiny house was vandalized once, and I was robbed twice while I was living in my tiny house. Now, granted, they didn't come inside my house, but they took so many things from the exterior of my house, things that were locked up, my bike, furniture, umbrellas, grills, whatever it was that they could get a hold of on the exterior of my house, they took it. And so things had to be chained and bolted down. And no one likes to live like that. I literally had to chain every single one of my chairs to each other so that if they were going to take them, it was going to be some sort of deterrent. It wasn't going to stop someone, but it was definitely going to make it a little bit harder for them to take my shit. With that said, here, I've not had to lock up anything. Like I said, going back to the story, my front door was unlocked. The door to the garden, the service door where the service workers come in and out so they don't have to trek inside your house, was unlocked. My screen doors were unlocked. And so I'm like, what is going on? So now I'm shook because I found out via the WhatsApp group that this happened, you know, a couple doors down from me. And I'm laying in my bed, none the wiser, watching Wakanda Forever. And, you know, I got the Black Panther in me. And so I'm just like, what is going on? The people were home in the house when this home invasion took place. The lights were on and they were upstairs, and this was going on downstairs. So to finish out this story, the robbers, you know, whatever, I don't know all the details. I still don't. Went over a wall. The walls around my neighborhood have an electrical fence. So what I was being told is that the fence was broken at the time, and this person probably knew that. So I don't really know. I couldn't give you all those details, but for me, it was important to reach out to my friends, which I did do. And then someone in my circle got back to me and said, oh shit, my front door was unlocked too. And that just goes to show that we feel very comfortable here and safe. But then within a couple of days, I was installing cameras at my friend's house. And so it's just, yes, it's definitely something that we need to remember. Cameras work, doorbells, and keeping your head on a swivel, and also staying in touch with your neighbors. Yeah, long story short, what I want to say is, if you are, you know what, I don't even want to make this about Mexico or moving to another country. Wherever you live, it is imperative that you are part of some sort of neighborhood watch group, or that if you live in a building, that you and your neighbors look out for each other. You may not like all of your neighbors. Granted, I've lived places where I couldn't stand some of my neighbors, but it is good to have someone on your block, on your floor, within your 5-mile radius or something, that you're part of a group. When I was living in Las Vegas, I was part of a group called, I think it was called The Neighborhood or something. It's like an app, and you put in your zip code, and then it will give you information on your area. So you don't even have to technically be friends with anyone, but as long as you're in the group, you know what's going on. You know if there's robberies, you know if there's home invasions, you know if there's people going around trying to con you out of money, coming knocking on your door for things. And So you know about these things because people are putting it in these groups. So my advice to everyone is get to know your neighbors, or at least join your neighborhood WhatsApp group or your neighborhood app. So that way you can be in the know. Because if it wasn't for my neighbors and if it wasn't for my WhatsApp group, I wouldn't have known what was going on until probably the next day, in which case it could have been too late for me. It is important that no matter where you are in the world, no matter where you live, you want to make sure that you have this back and forth dialogue, that you have open communication with your neighbors, period. Now, I could go on and the back and forth between you, friends, family, and everybody's opinion about leaving the United States, which is supposed to be the safest place. But I'm not going to get into that. What I'm going to say in this PSA is, if you do plan on moving here to Merida or anywhere in Mexico, but I'm speaking for Merida, but this is probably something you can do wherever you are. Download the Yucatan Times, and you can have Google translate it into English for you. But this way you are able to keep up with what's going on. I know that news can be very negative and it can be very daunting. This is the reason why I never watched the news when I was in America, because there's so much negativity, so much poison, and it's toxic, and we don't always know how to process all of that. And so I just never watch the news. Like, I get on my mom all the time because she would just watch the news 24/7, 6 days a week, except for Sunday because that's reserved for church. But yeah, I don't enjoy doing it, but it's something that we have to do so that we can keep our head on a swivel. So do your due diligence. Download the Yucatan Times. This video is not sponsored. I'm telling you because this information was given to me by my friends who live here who have done that. You definitely want to make sure you know what's going on, because one thing I will say is Merida has been known to be one of the safest cities in all of North America. And I've said this before, that's all well and great, but you also have to keep in mind that a lot of these places want to keep that ranking. And I don't have to say much to say, yeah, there are going to be some things that you're not going to be aware of. Certain things are going to be buried, because just like in America, they want to give this illusion that is the safest place that you can go and visit. However, there's so much happening just in New York. I don't really want to have to go into all of these things and compare apples, you know, big apples to apples, but I'm just saying, like, there's so much that's going on, but a lot of places will not necessarily bring things to the light for the fact that they want to keep a specific ranking. So you have to do your own due diligence. You have to get to know your neighbors. You have to get to know your community. The locals are going to tell you what's going on regardless. And so you just want to make sure that you don't get yourself so consumed with this is good, this is great, this is good, this is great, this is good, this is great, that you forget that there are the powers that be that are controlling some of these things. I got very complacent. I got very comfortable. And now I've had to really like snap out of it and realize, like, hey, you know what, regardless of where you are, regardless of what the ranking might be, you still want to make sure that you are keeping yourself safe, because the truth of the matter is people are hungry, people don't have money, people are struggling, and that causes people to do very stupid things like break into a house that the people are home. So one of my other tips in this video is to make sure that you are registered with US.gov. and I will leave the link in the description. That way they know you're here, and if something happens to you, your family members, whoever you put on your application when you're filling it out, will be notified. It takes literally 5 minutes. I mean, like, it's not difficult to do. And you want to be registered with that, and you want to set up for the notifications, because they will send you the notifications. Again, not trying to induce any kind of fear mongering, but there are things that go on that you want to be aware of. For instance, I got a notification the other day that there was going to be a protest, and this happens all the time here every year around International Women's Day. So they told you in this notification, do not attend these protests. They can get violent, and you don't have the same kind of protections as someone who is a citizen here. So stay your ass out of it. Don't get involved in their political things, and mind your business, stay home, keep it safe. The other thing is, don't keep yourself so isolated that you don't make friends and you don't get out and you don't know what's going on, because these things are going to help you assimilate into the new culture. Don't come into this not doing these things. Some of these things, it took me a while to do, to get cameras, to do the things that I should have done right out the gate, and therefore I'm just trying to let you know, go ahead and handle your business. And again, this does not matter where you live. You may have gotten comfortable living someplace for 20 years. We live in a completely different world today. We live in a world where people they are not able to get jobs, unemployed, they're struggling. It's savage out here right now. And so no matter what you did or where you lived or whatever, you cannot get too fucking comfortable. Now, I know we're gonna have our negative Nellies, Nancy's, whatever in the comment section, even though I told y'all don't come for me. But I will let you know, the reason why I moved here is because of its level of safety. I don't live all over Merida. I live in one area, one section of Merida. So I can speak for where I am, and I can speak for what goes on. There are a lot of people on YouTube doing videos about Merida, about Mexico, and I don't, associate with 99.9% of them, but for the most part, they are doing videos that are informative and keeping you up to date. You got your outliers who are doing videos to line their pockets specifically, but for the most part, there are those who are out there trying to tell you the real deal about being here, about living here, dating here, what the actual cost of living is, all of those things. I don't need to go into it. There's too many channels out there, and like I said, there are probably like 2 or 3 that I actually follow, and the rest of them, I could do without. But I'm just saying, Merida has its ups and its downs. And actually, I did a video, the 20 things I dislike about Merida, and I haven't put that video out. I actually did it upon my 6-month anniversary, and I am now coming up on 8 months in Merida, believe it or not. Yes, I've surpassed the 6-month, 7-month mark, and now I am getting close to being here for 8 months. And I haven't put that video out yet. I recorded it, I started editing it, and then I thought, I don't know that I want to put this on my channel. Again, I didn't want to put this video on my channel, but I felt like it was necessary. It was kind of something I needed to do because I felt like people needed to be on alert. But with that particular video, that is just me giving my opinions about the things that I dislike about being here. And some of them are related specifically to Merida, and some of them are just related to Mexico in general. Again, I don't know if I'm gonna put that video on my channel. If I do, it is quite long. I might just put it on my Coffee account, and then people can go over there and watch it if they want to. If it's something you want to see, let me know in the comments, and then I'll go ahead and maybe I'll put it on this channel. Maybe I'll do, it was 20 things, so maybe I'll do 10 here and then do another video with the other 10 and put that on the Coffee if you guys want to go and see the rest of it. But yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna actually put that video out. I can tell you nothing has changed. I can still add to that list. But with that said, I can come up with a video with 50 reasons why I love Merida or Mexico. So don't get it twisted. I'm not trying to be negative about it, but there are certainly some things that you absolutely want to keep in mind if you plan on moving here to Merida. So Merida is still a very safe place to live, and I love living here. Unfortunately, the world that we live in today is not a very nice place, and you can't trust every single person, as even people on YouTube. Like, even, you know, when it comes to me, I'm being open and honest, but you still need to do your due diligence. And you can't believe everything that everybody says, whether it's good or bad. Do your own homework, okay? And know that no matter where you are not 100% safe or whatever. Guys, just remember, you could be in your house and still have your identity stolen. So you could have cameras galore, you could have Ring doorbells and, you know, everything. You could have all of that stuff and be sitting in your house and have someone steal your identity over the computer or over the phone. So no matter where you are, no matter what country you live in, nothing is 100% proof. But you can certainly make things a little less easy for those who are trying to prey on you. Okay, so with that said, I'm done with my rant. Make sure you stay connected, keep your head on a swivel, and be safe. I love you.